Very good morning to you. China has showed off its military might to the world with a parade to mark the 80th anniversary since the defeat of Imperial Japan and the end of World War II. It began with an 80-gun salute to mark each year since the end of the war. Among those watching on from Tiananmen Square, Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un. It's the first time the three leaders have met and formed part of China's leader's message of power, both military and diplomatic.
Chinese nation is the great nation that is never intimidated by any bullies and always values independence and forges ahead. In the past, when faced with critical struggles between good and evil, light and darkness, progress and reaction, the Chinese people rallied together to defy the enemy.
Well, we just had pictures come in moments ago of a bilateral meeting between President Putin and Kim Jong-un. Quite extraordinary to see there in a formal bilateral. If the pictures earlier of them all together at the broader celebrations weren't amazing enough to see, that's been taking place just moments ago. Well, our Asia correspondent Helen-Ann Smith was at that parade and she filed this report.
This massive event only just finished. Already, almost immediately, they are starting to bus people out. But look, whatever you might think of the politics of what's happened here, the performance was absolutely remarkable. Just the precision, the accuracy, every boot, every turn of the head. In the stands we were in, you could literally feel them reverberating as the tanks rolled past, as the jets came overhead. And there was just this electric atmosphere of sort of anticipation and excitement from the crowds who were members of the public who were just in the area in front of where we were seated. It was a really spectacular show. Look, there's a couple of audiences, I think, for what's happened here today. One is absolutely the Chinese domestic audience. It is a crucial message that they are telling that, look, back 80 years ago, China was invaded and humiliated by Japan, but it was victorious. And just look what has happened since. China is now a major global superpower. It is on the rise, on the ascendancy. And by the way, that is thanks to, as they would say, the CCP and Xi Jinping. So loyalty and party dominance, absolutely a key theme here. Worth saying, actually, in some of the press briefings we had ahead of this event, the notion of loyalty to the party was actually listed as a more important objective than commemorating the end of the Second World War. So that shows just how important that is. But look, absolutely, this is not just about the domestic Chinese audience. Be in no doubt, there was big, important messages for the rest of the world as well. And the key message there is about Chinese power, Chinese might, Chinese ascendancy. And part of that is military power, of course, and that was pretty self-evident with the massive military sort of armory on show, the sort of hundreds of pieces of weaponry and equipment, some that have never been seen in public before, all of which have been Chinese made. The notion of battle readiness was absolutely a theme that's been continuously pushed this week as well, and certainly the island of Taiwan will be listening very closely to that. But look, it's not just about military power, it is also about political power and the power of allegiances, because this event has been noteworthy, not just because of what has been here and what we've seen, but because of who has been here as well. And it was so notable the whole way through. The host, President Xi Jinping, flanked to his right by Vladimir Putin of Russia and to his left by Kim Jong-un of North Korea. And look, there has been some analysts speculating that the recent closeness of Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, and Kim has sent troops to help Putin in Ukraine of late, there's been some speculation that that has actually irked China, who is the historic ally of those two. Not a sign of that here today. Very much the messaging that these three are in lockstep, and I think absolutely unashamed about the fact that these three are proposing, if subtly or perhaps unsubtly, a new type of global order. So look, the power of China really is the message to take away today. Some questions, of course, whether during a week where it's really portrayed itself as a convener of nations, a builder of bridges, a master of diplomacy. Some questions, of course, about whether following that up with a huge military parade and flanked by leaders that many see as pariahs might be slightly undermining to that message. But it is there nonetheless, and perhaps only a country like China could pull it off.